right, in this particular case, we're heading down to Texas to check out Judge Boyd. Now, with all my videos, please don't contact any of these folks. We're just doing this merely as an exercise of our civil rights to understand what's going on in court so we can talk about the things that happen in court, as well as how it affects our communities and how we can hopefully prevent other young men and other young ladies from falling into these same traps. Now, this particular case is very interesting because it's a young man who is in a car with his girlfriend and her friends. The phones are all dead. Then the car dies. And instead of him trying to figure out what he's going to do, he comes up with the bright idea of stealing a Kia because he saw it on social media. Now, this is a very interesting case that has a very interesting twist, especially being as though this young man is asking for a plea bargain. And unfortunately, with Judge Boyd, you always get more than you bargain for. Let's check it out.
All right, court is calling 2024 CR 3316, State of Texas versus Ezekiel Neely. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Andrew Harrison.
Defense?
Raymond Vale.
And are you Mr. Neely?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery? Did you review it with your client?
I have, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Neely, did you review the document entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Waiving count two, proceeding on count one, Your Honor.
No objection, Your Honor.
Did you understand you're charged with theft of a vehicle, $2,500 to $30,000 as a state jail felony? Range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand? If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, after reviewing State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. Court will defer finding you guilty as you applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
We are, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Just as the court probably has gleaned from the report, it was very poor decision-making on his part, Your Honor. I mean, he's a young person. He recognizes that he made a very bad choice, and we're hoping the court will follow the terms and conditions of the plea agreement. I do believe he'll be successful if the court gives him the opportunity to work with the court in terms of the specifics that the court may impose on him. But in my interactions, he's very remorseful, and he definitely understands that he made a very bad mistake. And so he's a young person. He has a lot of opportunities ahead of him. And I'd like to, hopefully with the probation, the deferred, give him a chance of being able to reach those goals.
How old are you?
19.
Why are you stealing cars?
I just made a bad decision. I was tired. I wasn't thinking straight. Everybody's phones were dead and they were stuck in a car. We were riding around at night, hanging out, and then the car broke down. I tried changing the tire of the car, the ABS locked up or something. It wouldn't start up and their phones were dead. And it was a whole bunch of females. It was my girlfriend's friends. So I took a car to take them home and get us home. And
No, you're skipping over a whole lot of things. You're just acting as though, so I took a car to take them home and this is what happened. That's a bunch of nonsense. According to this, you broke into a car. So where did you find a screwdriver to break in the car?
it was in the car.
All right, so the car that you broke into had a screwdriver in it?
No, it was in the car that we were already in.
So you're in a car, you say that car stalls. So your bright idea and the people with you are to break into another car.
It wasn't a bright idea, but that was the
Now, I want to stop it right there. Now, before we get into all the foolishness, let's take a step back, because he makes it sound as though he's driving around through the desert with his girlfriend and her friends. The cell phone dies. There's nothing around. Civilization isn't for miles and miles and miles, and they're on the verge of starvation and perishing due to dehydration because they haven't had water in forever. And their only opportunity to reach back to civilization is to steal a car. The mere fact that you're in a location where there are cars present, that tells me that you're close to something. You're close to a house, you're close to businesses, you're close to apartments, something. How do I know this? Because nobody parks their cars in a big group in a parking lot in the middle of nowhere and then drive to their house. So they drive to the parking lot to pick their car up in the morning, then drive to work, then drive from work back to pick their car up so that they can drive home in a separate car. Like, that doesn't make any sense. So there were things around. There were other opportunities. He had different choices and different options. He just chose the wrong thing.
No, I'm being sarcastic. So you, out of all the cars you see in the parking lot, why did you choose the Dodge? Because I'm sure there was more than a Dodge there.
I didn't take a Dodge.
It was a Kia Soul.
All right, so the Kia Soul. Why did you take the Kia Soul of all of the cars that I'm sure there was more than just the Kia Soul there? So how did you choose the Kia Soul as the one to break into?
I don't know. I just heard of all the videos and stuff of people doing that Kia stuff, and I just knew that it was a
So there we go. So
I
he's looking at
understand.
videos and he's determined that the Kia is the easiest one to break into. I'm asking.
just one.
So why are you viewing videos on how to break into vehicles?
I didn't view it on how to break into. I just saw it.
Okay. So how does the conversation go? And you say you're with your girlfriend and these other people. How many people were with you?
It's four of us.
All right. So what's your girlfriend's name?
So
So Chloe, what's Chloe's last name? Olive. All right. Who else?
I don't know. Well, Gabby, I don't know the rest of her name, and then Alicia, but I don't know her last name.
All right. So y'all sit around the car stalls. Do you have a conversation with them? Does somebody say, hey, our car stall and our cell phones died. Bright move. Let's go break into a vehicle. How did the conversation go?
I don't really remember how the conversation went, but we didn't really talk about it like that. We were just like, we're gonna go get a car because we were sitting there for a while and we didn't know what to do. It was late at night and we didn't really have anybody we could call because our phones were dead. So
Mm-hmm.
we just, or I just went kind of
So there was no convenience store in the area.
not that I knew it wasn't my area, so I didn't know.
Oh, so there's no convenience store in all of the area where you were.
Not that I could see.
Mm-hmm. How far did you go in school?
How did I go up?
Yeah, how far did you go in school?
I graduated
Where did you graduate from?
from Roosevelt High School.
And what have you been doing with the rest of your life other than breaking into this vehicle?
I was a boxer and I was working with my cousin in restoration for a little while.
A boxer?
Yes.
Where?
At Scribner Boxing Gym.
And what's your weight class?
I was fighting at like 140, 147.
And how many fights you have?
I only had one fight until I stopped fighting for school because I had to pick up more hours at work.
All right, and did you win your one fight?
No, ma'am, I didn't. I did way too hard of conditioning. My legs gave out on me in the second round.
So you only went to the second round?
No, I went all the way through, but I lost it to decision because I wasn't throwing enough punches. I was too tired.
Who do you live with?
My mom.
Do you have any children?
No.
His mom's here, Judge.
All right, where's his mom? He's making silly decisions. I mean, people get killed for that.
I know.
This is Texas. Nobody wants you breaking into their vehicles. That person, that Kia, guess what? That person worked hard for that vehicle. And for them, guess what that was? That was probably their transportation to work, their transportation to the grocery store, And how would this society be if that person who now doesn't have a vehicle say, I came out, I had to go to work, my cell phone's not working, and my vehicle's gone, so let me break into another vehicle. That sounds so silly. I don't know what they're teaching in school or what's wrong with people.
I understand, Judge.
They stopped teaching civics.
I know. And we've had a long discussion before we appeared before, along with his mom. I mean, we've had some long discussions with him about his decision making. So.
And if you're drug tested, what are the results going to be? Tell the truth, shame the devil. What are your results going to be?
Maybe a little bit of marijuana. That's it.
All right, Mom, he's doing marijuana. So here's the thing. Why are you coming to court asking me to place you on probation and you're still using marijuana?
I'm not still using marijuana.
You want to go? I can sentence you to the state jail facility.
So I'm kind of around it, so it's not really out of my system.
Around who?
Me. It's
Now,
just
who are the people you around?
Well, my girlfriend's family.
All right, well, that's going to end. He's not going to be with her while he's on this probation. I'm no longer approving of their relationship. That relationship is over.
Now, I ain't gonna lie. When she said that, my jaw hit the ground. I was like, what? Can a judge tell you that you breaking up with your girlfriend? How is this right? Is this legal? But there is a way that I think the judge can get around with this particular sentencing and this particular ruling. And I'll explain it towards the end. But let's keep up with this foolishness.
He's angry and upset, but you can't be around people that are encouraging, and not a single one of them said to you, let's not break into this vehicle. Did she say, hey, don't break into this vehicle, we'll figure it out?
Said it wasn't a good idea, but I was set on getting home.
Well, then you know what? Maybe her mom would appreciate the fact that you're not around her, because you put her life in danger, and I'm assuming you're supposed to love her. You put her life in danger by breaking into somebody's car. And if she was telling you this is not a good idea, obviously you blew her off. So that's strike number one against that relationship. Strike number two against that relationship is the fact that you're telling me you may be positive for marijuana because you're around it. And then I'm like, around who? And you're like Chloe and her family. That relationship is over while you're on probation. Now, if you still want that relationship, what I can do is you all can rework out your plea bargain agreement, and I can send you to the state jail facility. You can do your time, maybe box at the state jail facility because you need to survive, or at the Bexar County Jail because you need to survive. But then guess what? You'll be off it and you can do whatever you want to do. So which would you prefer? Your relationship, or making a different agreement with your attorney where you go to trial or you go to the state jail facility?
So, Sarah Judge, I've been really focused on building a good life for me, my family, my girlfriend. We've been really focused on just doing
Here's
the
the
right
thing.
thing.
I appreciate what you're telling me, but that while you're on probation, that relationship is not happening on this probation.
I know.
The only thing that would make this decision worse, do you want to go to jail and then you can hang out with your girlfriend afterwards? Do you want to take this deal and not see your girlfriend? Or do you want to risk going to trial? Now, I don't know about you, but I hope his girlfriend isn't sitting in the audience, because he's going to have to make a choice. And for most people, they'd have to look back at her and say, baby, I love you, but I ain't trying to go to jail to box.
But no marijuana or anything is going to be around me. I'm going to be at home. I'm going to be around my family. Nothing's going to be, my mom's going to be around 24/7.
Your mom's not on probation.
At work. I'm going to be.
Let me just tell you, in this court, when I have co-defendants and they're involved in certain things, illegal activities, I don't allow them to have contact.
She's
doesn't
not
matter.
involved
No.
in illegal activity.
It doesn't matter if it's the girlfriend, the wife, whoever it is, and you need to concentrate on other things. And you all get together with this group think, and your group think resulted in you remembering some videos on how to break into a Kia. You could have been killed. She could have been killed. People in Texas and other places don't like people stealing things that they've worked hard for. And you know what? If you would have been shot or she would have been shot for breaking in that vehicle, you know what everybody would have done? They would have been watching it on the news and they would have been like, oh, that's a shame. Your mom would have been crying, my baby. They didn't have to kill my baby. And you know what other people would have been saying? Oh, well, he should have been breaking into a vehicle.
I understand, man.
So that's the Chloe thing is a non-starter at this point in time. You do well, then maybe I'll reconsider the Chloe thing. But for now, that relationship is over. So it's going to be 3 years deferred adjudication. There's to be no contact with Chloe Olive. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you end up having contact with her at some point in time, probation is going to find out about it. If they do, a motion to revoke is going to be filed.
What type of contact? Can I still
No,
virtually contact?
no,
I can't text her?
no. All right, there's no contact with Chloe Olive. And there's supposed to be restitution and no contact with Arnulfo, James Tartar. And I will tell you this, if somebody were Chloe's parents, they probably don't want you around Chloe either. How dare you take my daughter out where she could have been killed because you're still in a vehicle. And if those parents still want you around their daughter after this criminal activity,
I've showed.
I don't know what's up with those parents. There's a $1,500 fine. It will be probated. Proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. There's to be 150 hours of community service restitution. If you obtain a certificate in a trade school or complete some higher level of education, the community service hours will be waived. I'm going to want random field visits 1 time per month for 8 months. Random regular UAs. And we'll start with the UA today and ask them to test for levels. Taking consideration 72081. Probation, is there anything else?
Did you mention regular reporting for a person?
Yes, regular reporting by Zoom or in person.
Nothing else, Judge.
All right, is there anything else you need from the court?
Judge, the only thing I would ask is, he does have a grandmother who resides in Oklahoma. She's treating for cancer. I'm not sure what her prognosis is. The family typically goes up once a month to try to check
Just
on her.
like probation. I'm sure that'll be fine.
Hopefully he would be able to attend that. But that would be the only concern we would have.
All right, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand? All right, we can go off the record. Here's the thing. You're young. Guess what? If she's in love with you and you're in love with her at some point in time, after your probation is over, maybe she'll wait for you. Maybe she won't. If she doesn't wait for you, wasn't meant to be, and you shouldn't have put her life in danger if you loved her. Like you say you love her and claim you love her, you would not have put her life and your life in danger by doing that. And so there you go. And her parents probably don't want you around her either. And if they do, I don't understand that. You're taking their daughter into a position where she could potentially be killed because you don't want to take the VIA bus and you say you don't have a ride. But I'm serious. If you end up contacting her, probation is going to find out about it. A motion to revoke will be filed. You will be taken into custody. Your mom will either make bond for you or not. If your mom makes bond for you, then we'll hear that motion to revoke. And you're looking at potentially 2 years in the state jail facility, and that's day for day's time. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Judge.
Mom, is there anything else he needs? Excuse me, Mr. Otistor. All right. If there is an issue, you can always call this probation officer, let us know. Once I place somebody on probation, I'm hoping that they'll be successful. All right? You're welcome.
Thanks, Judge.
Now, there are a couple things that I want to talk about with this case. Now, it sounds like the judge is being super hard on him and trying to hurt his feelings. I don't feel that way. I think that the judge is actually trying to look out for his best interest. She's trying to teach him a lesson, and she's trying to give him life lessons. Now, there are some things that we could talk about with regard to, first and foremost, this whole social media influencer bullcrap. I'm on social media. You're looking at me on social media now. Now, there's only so much influence that I can give to you. You have to take with your mind and make your decisions for your life. Listening to the Kia boys or the Acura boys or the Honda boys or Chevy kids, the Ford friends, it doesn't make a difference. Because when push comes down to shove, when you watch somebody commit a criminal crime on YouTube or TikTok or whatever, and they commit that crime and it looks fascinating and fun, when you get caught doing that same crime, they don't come and do time for you. You do that time yourself, by yourself. In fact, in most cases, I can tell you for sure, as a content creator, most people are going to disavow whatever crime you committed. They're going to say that they had nothing to do with it. Now, when you look at the role that the judge played in saying that you can't see your girlfriend anymore and that relationship is over, she cited a couple things. And the judge took the perspective that, you know, when you go and you take people's property, especially down there in Texas, let's keep it full. You know, Texas, there's a couple places you don't want to be caught messing up. Texas is one of those places. Florida is another place like that. Stand your ground and all that, where people can come out and they could have a armed response. And the stupid thing for you to do is go out and get slumped over somebody else's property because you were too lazy to walk down the street and go to the convenience store and make a phone call or go and knock on somebody's door. Hell, I'd rather you come and knock on my door at 2:00 in the morning and ask for help. Probably won't answer the door, to be honest with you. But I'd rather that than somebody stealing my property. Okay? And in this particular case, he tries to steal somebody's property. This is their property. And you feel inconvenienced because your car broke down because you riding around in a raggedy ass bucket. But what about the person who has to go to work? And we could talk about the inconvenience of them going to work and losing their car and all that. But at the end of the day, that's their stuff. And nobody likes to have their stuff stolen. And that's where the judge was talking about. He put his girlfriend and the friends all in jeopardy because somebody could have came out with the pow pow and tried to Yosemite Sam that bad boy. Right. But there is another part of it where I think the judge actually has a lot of standing to be able to make the call that you can't associate with these folks on actually two fronts. The first front, he says that he was doing marijuana. Now, depending on the jurisdiction that you're in, I know we have this thing where, you know, oh, it's been legalized. It's not legal, though. It's not legal. And especially in some jurisdictions, you have to have like the little card and you have to have certain approvals and all that kind of stuff. It's not legal. So there's that. And I'm assuming that based on her response, as well as his response, oh, I was hanging out with some of her family members and they were doing it. Then you were hanging out with people who are committing crimes and you're asking to be put on probation. So if you're on probation, you can't be hanging out with people who are committing crimes. That's the first thing. The second thing that really hit me, there was a concern that he could have gotten her in trouble because somebody could have came out with the pshaw, pshaw, you know, with them hammers and try to put them hammers on them, put that steel, that rod, that thing on them. But there's also another part of it. They were all driving in a car. That car broke down. All of them were aware that this car broke down. Then they watch him break into another car. And I'm assuming, because I don't know the specifics of the case, but if they all were to get into the car that was stolen, they're now part of a criminal conspiracy, at least in my mind. Let me know if I'm onto something. If they're part of a criminal conspiracy, his influence could have gotten her charged. So when the judge says that the parents very well may not want their daughter hanging out with somebody who's getting their child involved with criminal activity, she's onto something. The other people in the car could have been charged too, because you knew that wasn't his car. In fact, you stood there and watched him break into the car. And if one of you handed him the screwdriver, that'd be the chef's kiss of crime. So in my mind, that's where the judge actually has a real strong handle on being able to come down with this particular order saying that you can't associate with her anymore. And if I find out you have associated with her, then off you go to the big house to practice your fight game. The next thing is this big idea of consequences. When you involve yourself in criminal activity, there are consequences. It's not just the threat of jail. But let's be honest, you now have people in your business. You're inviting people to come into your business. Now, the judge was very straightforward by telling you that you had to break up with your girlfriend. But there is also the fact of the matter that now you have a reporting requirement. You have to meet with your PO at least once a month. And they can surprise you and pop up on you and try to catch you talking to your girlfriend. They can ask you for your phone. You don't have a sense of privacy. You don't have those things anymore because you're on parole. The second thing is you have to go down and you have to take a drug test. And what if you are just standing on a bus stop or somewhere and you're inhaling the stuff and they're checking levels and you come in and you pee hot? Could you get yourself in trouble? I mean, these are some of the things, because you have people in your business. And when you're out here making these bad decisions, you're inviting people into your business where you don't want people in your business. Now, just as minor things, here's the deal. If the judge has already made their decision, don't stand there and argue with the judge. You see his attorney keep slapping him in the legs, telling him to shut up, because all you're going to do is make the judge angry. And if the judge gets angry, the judge has every right to throw out that case, that plea bargain, in which case you have to go to trial. And it sounds like they got you dead to rights. So there's a possibility she throw the plea bargain out, you go to trial, you're found guilty, and she slap you with the 2 years right off the rip. And you're doing day for day like she said, because you don't show any remorse. You acting like you don't care what I'm talking about. And that's one of the things that kind of falls into place. Once you make these bad decisions, you put yourself in the system. And once you're in the system, you no longer have control over your own life. This is just my opinion. This has been my take on family law. If you guys find this stuff interesting, please comment down below. Give me the like button. I'm James. This is my take on family law, and I'm out.